Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. In today's video we'll be drafting out a very simple corset top. This is very simple without all the plenty mathematics because I hate complexities. So now as we have to start by drafting out our basic bodice pattern. I am using 18 inches for shoulder measurement and I went down by half an inch for our shoulder slants. After that I marked 9 for the bust line, and this is me marking 13 for under bust and 17 for half length of the top. After taking 17 for half length, I'll do the full length 21 inches. That's because I want it to stop at 20 inches, and I'll use a straight ruler to mark out those lines, the bust line, the under bust and half length I just marked. And now I'll divide what I have from my shoulder measurement and my bust point by 2 and mark my middle after drawing my straight line. On that middle, that's where I'll come in by half an inch, 0.5, to get my armhole curve. After coming in by 0.5, I'll take my French curve and mark my armhole curve down. This is the simple basic bodice that we need to start with. We've not started the corsetry statistics. So this is me taking the neckline. You can do any neckline you wish, be it a curvy neckline, straight or round. I went down by 3 inches, went in by 3 inches, and that gave me this shape. And now our basic bodice is ready. I had to rush that part because I guess we are all familiar. Now we'll start our corsetry work. So guys, we're starting by taking our bust span measurement, which is also known as the nipple to nipple measurement. The bust span measurement I'm using here is 8 inches. That's why you see me taking 4 inches on each of the lines here: the bust line, the under bust, the hip line and the half line. After doing that, we'll come down on our bust line by 1 inch, and it's on that 1 inch that you take a straight line down on top of the 4 inches you measured. And after doing that, we'll go and take our dart on our half length line by taking 1 inch to your left and 1 inch to your right to make our 2 inches dart on our waist. And after doing that, you now connect the dart accordingly from the line that we took earlier, the 1 inch we took downwards, to the half length where we took our dart. And after that, you also trace down the dart from the half length down to the end of the dress. That's the full length of the top. It's not a dress, it's a top. If it was a dress, we'll stop at half length because we'll attach it to the down part. So now after doing that, we'll go to our bust line. This means indicating the bust line to avoid confusion. On that bust line, you go up by 1 inch and come in by half an inch. We're trying to take our middle. The middle is the space in between the two bra cups. So it's 1 inch, half inch on this side, half inch on the other side. Remember, you'll be cutting on fold. That's what we just did here by going up by 1 inch and going in by half inch, so that when you open it will now be 1 inch wide. So the next thing we'll do now is to measure what we have on our bust line and under bust. Measure what you have there so that you use it to extend the upper part of this top. Whatever you get here, me, I got 4 inches. So I'll go up on our bust line and take 4 inches as well and mark it. And then extend that line upwards. So having done all of that, the next thing we'll do is to trace out our cup. And for us to do this, we have to come out from this under bust that you took before. Come out by half an inch on your left, come out by half an inch on your right. It's on that half an inch you trace to this. Remember this half an inch we took on the bust line, you trace it. Then to know the other side, the armhole side of the cup, you come out by 2 inches from your armhole measurement. 2 inches. If you're very busty, you will come out by 1 inch. But if you're not so busty, this is bust 38 here, came out by 2 inches. You trace this line to that dart and trace the other line to the underbust. That underbust you came out by 2 inches. You can use freehand to just trace it out if you're very good with drawing, but I used my French curve to achieve a perfect one because I'm not very good with sketching. So this is what I got from the first side of the cup. The next thing we'll do now is to also trace that 2 inches we came out from our armhole measurement down to this 1/2 inch we came out on our underbust, and then we have our cup traced out. Remember to mark out this 1/2 inch you came out with this new dart, underbust dart, so that we'll have our cup will be firm. That's why we came out extra, came out more. The next thing we'll do now is to trace the upper part of your cup. From this 1/2 inch we came out, that's the space in between the two cups, trace it up to the end of that extension we did earlier, and then from that under the armhole line, you also trace the other side downwards. That's how you get your cup is ready. The next thing we'll do now is to take that to avoid bulging on the top of your cup so that your breast will not be too opened. I came out by 0.75 on my left, 0.75 on my right to take a little dart there. If you're using a bra cup, remember you will run a straight stitch down 0.75. Some use 0.5, some use 1 inch, depends on how big, wide-mouthed the cup is. So I used 0.75 as dart for the cup, and then our cup is ready, guys. The next thing we do now is to trace down this new dart that we took with our straight ruler. Trace it down, straight down to your full length to have a straight dart on that line. So after that, the next thing we'll do now is to come down by 0.5 on that our armhole line. Come down by 0.5 so that we can blend our cup. Come down by 0.5, mark a straight line on that 0.5, and then you now blend your cup as you see me doing on the video. Blend your cup down to that line because we don't want to cut our cup alongside our armhole line. So that's the essence of coming down by 0.5. Basically, that's the hard part of this corset, and it's done. We have our yoke, we have our cup, we have all of the darts that we need taken out. The next thing now is to take your measurement. Now our bust measurement we are using here is 38, which is 9.5. Then you add your allowance, sewing allowance 1.5. Then this 1/2 inch 0.75 that went left and right, measure it out and mark it. And the next we'll take is our waist measurements. We are using waist 30, which is 7.5. 7.5 plus 2 inches of this dart that we took in the middle, that's 9.5. And then add my 1.5 sewing allowance, and that will give me 11. Depends on how many sewing allowance you use. So I'll go down to my full length, take my hip measurements, and take a straight line down on those lines I marked out for my measurements. This is my yoke, as I just wrote down. This is me labeling the cup so that I will not get confused. This is 1 and this is 2, and I'll also mark it out on the fabric because you don't want to mix up this cup parts. So we cut out and our corset is almost ready. So after cutting out the darts, the cups, the side fronts and the middle, and I arrange it on the table for you to see what we have. I've not really decided on the fabric that I will use for this tutorial just yet. I just want to post the cutting first. When we are ready to sew, you will see the fabric we used. And I'll just bring out one free black fabric to cut out the yoke for you to see how beautiful it looks. After cutting out the yoke, I also cut out the bodice on a plain black fabric. I was just playing around I am not sure if it's this fabric I'll be using here because it's too small. I'll need to buy a fabric. So this is me arranging it for you to see how beautiful it looks before we cut the back piece. This is the back piece. It is very straightforward. I placed the front piece, the side front and the middle front on top of a plain paper, and I traced out the sides, trace out the both sides, and then on this middle front, the center front, I came down by 3.5 because that's where the zipper part is on the back. Came down by 3.5. Then I will slant that 3.5 to meet up that other side, the side back. This is back now, not side front. And then this, I'm marking out my middle back. On this big back, if you're using a zip, you will come out by 2 inches for your zipper allowance. But this is a loop, a rope we'll be using on this back, so I'm going to deduct 2 inches because that back needs to be open. So when you deduct 2 from your left, 2 from right, that will give us 4 inches open space on our back. If you want to cover with a modesty panel, fine. If you want it open, fine. So this is me cutting out the, now we will now have this tiny small back that will be attaching our loops to our eyelets, and then we have the big back, and then it's ready. So guys, thank you so much for watching to this point. So when I decide on the fabric to use, I'll add that cutting of the fabric part to the sewing part of this video. Thank you so much for watching to this point. Don't forget to subscribe.